So, good day, everyone. Today we will be talking about again the CMO number 22 to 2010. And for now, it will be all about the administrative provision. So, this is the section 1. So, section 1, we have base service section or equivalent office. The base service section is in charge of boarding formalities and the entrance and clearance of foreign vessels. So, in here, we can say that the base service section is they are the one who are the in charge in entrance and clearance of any vessels. So it supervises and implements security measures in the discharging or loading of import or export shipments as well as the incoming and outgoing crew, passengers, and visitors on board such vessels. So the base service section shall be headed by a chief who shall have direct supervision and control over all personnel therein. He shall issue instructions to the customs senior boarding officer and who shall in turn be held responsible for the proper execution of the instructions given from time to time and to render reports. So as you can see that the base service section, it is headed by the chief and also the customs senior boarding officer who will the one who's responsible are from given the instructions to other reports. Next is the section 2, the uniforms and insignia or Pierce and Inspection Division. So the chief, the Bay Service Section, the customs senior boarding officers, the customs inspectors, customs guards, and wharfingers shall always wear the appropriate and prescribed uniform, insignia, nameplate, customs badge, black shoes, and regulation cup. So those are the things that they should wear when they are on duty. So, Section 3, Duties and Responsibilities of Customs Operations Officer the Third, or Customs Senior Boarding Officers. Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall have the following duties and responsibilities. First is to board incoming foreign vessels outside the breakwater or harbor unless prevented by stress of weather. When boarding a vessel, the Customs Senior Boarding Officer shall be assisted by the Customs Inspector assigned on a vessel. Second is to obtain from the master of a vessel the necessary information as required in BOCOPM Form Number 15, Record 01, Vessel Boarded. Next, number 3, seal sea stores in the presence of ship's officer and the customs inspector assigned on board. Under penalty of law, the customs seal so affixed shall not be broken while their vessel is within these jurisdictional limits of the Philippines except when the vessel is in port and only written application to withdraw supplies signed by the master and approved by collector of customs or his duly authorized representatives. Only the customs senior boarding officer, in the presence of the customs inspector, may break the seal and allow the withdrawal of such quantities as may be authorized and reseal the sea stores compartment after such withdrawal. So in this case, only this customs senior boarding officer has or any presence of the customs inspector has only the right to break the seal or withdrawal of any quantities. So next, number 4 is to see to it that all customs inspectors and customs guards on duty are in their proper prescribed uniforms. Unless the customs inspectors are properly uniformed, the customs senior boarding officer shall not allow their embarking on the launch and shall report them as absent. In such cases, he can assign any available assigned customs inspector, or if no customs inspector is available, an acting customs inspector to take charge of the vessel until a regular customs inspector assigned reports in proper uniform. So, dili kay Morg, dili siya pwede nga if you're on duty then you're not in a prescribed uniforms, the customs inspector and customs guards are not allowed to do their job because it's like it's unprofessional bitaw then. So the customs senior boarding officer, he or she has the right nga kanang maglain na lang og custom inspector, which is magwait na lang if kinsa custom inspector nga ready na for their duty. So number 5, See to it that a customs inspector or customs guard assigned to a vessel is provided with the necessary stationery and supplies. He shall also see to it that customs inspectors have a copy of the tariff and customs code of the Philippines and a manual for port operations. So the custom inspectors have always the copy of tariff and customs code of the Philippines and the manual for port operations. So letter B, report of customs senior boarding officers. So first, upon his return from an official trip in the bay, the customs senior boarding officer shall transmit to the chief, bar service section, or its equivalent office, all reports, entries, and other documents delivered to him by the master, agent, or the customs inspector assigned on board vessels. So second, he shall prepare and submit his trip of report, BOC OPM Form Number 15 or Records of Vessel Boarded to the Chief Base Service Section or its equivalent office and make report from the assignment order issued by the Customs Inspectors and Customs Guard. So that are the duties of Customs Senior Boarding Officer. So we are now moving forward in Section 4, the duties and responsibilities of Customs Operations Officer 1 or Customs Inspectors. So A, customs inspectors shall have the following duties and responsibilities. So here we will be talking about what are the duties and responsibilities of customs inspectors. So first, they supervise the discharge and loading of cargo and to supervise continuous surveillance to protect the interest of the customs service pursuant to the Section 2202 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. Second, be responsible for the proper disposal of all cargoes and stores on board vessels under their charge. It is their duty to see that no cargo or stores of any descriptions are discharged from or received on the vessel without authority from the Collector of Customs or his authorized representative. So we have here next, number 3. Represents the customs service in its official relations with the passengers, ship's owners, ship's officers, owners, agents, and consignees, and should see to it that dignity of the service is not impaired. And number 4, stay in the vessel to which he has been assigned until he is relieved by proper authority, except as hereinafter provided, or it to be necessary in the interest of the service that immediate action be taken. So number 5, honor any order, request, or permit of any description only from the following named official. So A, we have the Commissioner of Customs or Deputy Commissioner of Customs. Letter B, we have Collector of Customs or Deputy Collector for Operations. C, we have Chief or Assistant Chief, Pierce and Inspection Division. D, we have Chief, Base Service Section. And lastly, we have Customs Senior Boarding Officer. So next, number 6, endeavor to work in harmony at all times with customs employees of other divisions and with the immigration officers on board with respect to the enforcement of immigration laws, rendering assistance to those officials in the performance of their duties. In case of Philippine registered vessel returning from the abroad, conducts mastering of crew pursuant to Section 1011 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. Number 7, we have cooperate with quarantine authorities in the enforcement of port quarantine regulation promulgated by the Bureau of Quarantine and shall give effect to the same insofar they are connected with matters of shipping and navigation pursuant to Section 605 of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended. Next, we have number 8, familiarize themselves with the provisions of the Tariff and Customs Code of the Philippines as amended, customs administrative orders, customs memorandum orders, and circulars issued by the Bureau of Customs pertinent to their duties. And number 9, we have referred to the matter of the Customs Senior Boarding Officer or Chief, base service section or equivalent office for decision in case he is in doubt as to proper action to be taken. So we have now B, the specific duties upon assuming charge of vessel. So first, it shall be the first duty of a customs inspector upon assuming charge of a vessel, especially a passenger vessel, to immediately assign a customs guard at each accommodation ladder or gangway with the instruction not to allow persons to board the vessel without a written pass, excepting the stevedores to attend to the discharging of or loading of cargoes. Number two, we have the customs inspector shall instruct customs guards assigned on the gangway to conduct body searches, if necessary, on all persons boarding or disembarking from the vessel. So, number three, while the vessel is docked at the pier or wharf, the customs inspector shall make periodic inspection to ascertain that all ropes and cables from vessel to dock are provided with rat guards and that adequate safeguards are employed, such as the covering of the holes through with ropes and cable pass. So number four, we have if the vessel docks at night, the customs inspector shall require proper lighting at the gangway. So we are moving here in letter C, relationship of customs inspector with customs guards under his supervision. So first, we have the customs inspector shall see to it that the customs guards assigned on the vessel are in complete uniform and present a neat and clean appearance. Their official badges must be displayed conspicuously. He should impress upon them the necessity of courtesy in their official dealings with passengers, ship's officers, consignees, and other concerned. He shall instruct them that all disputes and all questions wherein the element of doubt enters should be submitted immediately to the customs inspector, and satisfy himself that the customs guard to whom he issues instructions thoroughly understands that so that errors may be avoided. So the customs inspector um, has the right to tell the customs guard to be in a proper or complete uniform, and also to satisfy them that the customs guards must follow the instructions so that errors may be avoided. Number two, he shall report to the customs senior boarding officer on duty the unexplained absence of any customs guards assigned to him. So any custom inspector, they must submit reports to customs senior boarding officer if there are any customs guard that are in absent. So C, relationship of customs inspectors with customs guard under his supervision. We are now moving in number three. An efficiency report for customs guards shall be submitted by the customs inspector for each vessel of which he is in charge. Customs guard who are incompetent, negligent in the performance of their official duties, or guilty of disobedience shall be subject to a special informal report, which shall be submitted with the efficiency report. So number four, we have he shall maintain a logbook to keep a record of events during his tour of duty, to include customs guards sent ashore or to another vessel, and on official business specifying the following. So we have the time of departure, nature of business, destination, where and when he is to report upon the completion of his business, and time report. So these are the things that the customs guard must written in her or his logbook so that he can or she can have records. So number five, it is essential that an accurate check be secured in all cargoes discharged from and loaded on a vessel. Customs inspectors shall instruct their customs guards to check independently of other checkers and to submit their customs guards report. He shall submit the discharging sequence and or inward foreign manifest duly received in the logbook by the customs wharfinger. So letter D, we have the report after termination of duty. So a customs inspector returning to shore after the vessel of which he was in charge was sailed, or returning to station from an outport assignment, shall immediately report to the chief or base service section or its equivalent office, and submit all reports relative to his assignment to the latter, who shall properly endorse them to Chief, Pierce and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. The customs inspector, upon submission of his report, shall register the time and date of his vessel's departure in the priority listing of customs inspector for assignments. A customs inspector who has not submitted his records and documents pertinent to his vessel assignment shall not be given assignment to a new vessel until he has submitted his reports and documents. So it is really necessary for the customs inspector to submit his reports for the assigned vessels, or and also the time and date the vessels was departure. So if the customs inspector cannot submit his or her reports, he or she cannot be given another assignment, which is another vessel for him to do or for him to report. So the reports of a customs inspector shall include as supporting documents to the following. First, you have the duly accomplished inspector certificate of lading. In case of break bulk and conventional cargoes, the original copy together with the export permits to be submitted to the export processing division concerned. Second is the shipside permits, if any, properly endorsed at the back thereof with accompanying transfer notes and customs guards check report. So third, we have accomplished certificate of inspection or CI, certificate of identification and loading or CIL, if any. And number four, we have the certificate of date of last cargo discharge accomplished by customs inspector on board and bearing the seal of the master of the vessel to be submitted to the office of the chief, Pierce and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. So number five, we have the clearance of a vessel indicating during the time and date that the vessel actually sails and the berth assignment and the period of time the vessel stays at such berths and or anchorage for transmittal to the customs clearance officer. So number six, we have the general permit issued by the customs senior boarding officer, properly endorsed at the back thereof, and seven, all shipping documents required from the master upon boarding a vessel, permits properly endorsed, and reports of all violations of customs rules and regulations that may come into his attention. So those are the things that a customs inspector must submit the supporting documents. So we have all permits, entries, and other documents received by the customs inspector on board of a vessel shall be endorsed by him. Upon completion of his portion of the action directed, such endorsements shall always show. So here are some endorsements that the customs inspector must show in. So first, the date when the action was accomplished. Second, the action taken. And third, the portion of the action accomplished, except in some instances where another customs official is to perform the accomplishment action. So the date and time of receipt of any official document shall always be noted therein by the customs inspector, who shall initial the same. So we have here section 5, which is the port utilization section. So the port utilization section supervises the receiving, handling, custody, monitoring, movement, and release of shipments at the piers or customs zone. So the port utilization section shall be headed by a chief who shall perform the following functions. First is the supervise all wharfingers, assistant wharfingers, customs guards assigned at container yards, outside CYCFS, and customs gatekeepers. Second, we have an act on all written reports submitted by the personnel under his supervision, and customs gatekeepers to be in complete uniform while on duty. So, number 5, assign his personnel properly apportioning their overtime as equitable and as fairly as possible. Exercise direct supervision over customs gatekeepers. Number 7, inspect piers, wharves, warehouses, container freight, and the container terminal inside the customs zone as frequently as possible, submitting to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office such reports as may be necessary. Number 8, we have see to it that cargoes are transferred properly and promptly to bonded carriers, bonded warehouse, and private warehouses covered by proper transfer notes. So number 9, recommend to the Chief, Piers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office for the interest of the service and with consultation with the wharfingers in charge of the piers, the reshuffling of personnel under him to the different piers. Supervise the wharfingers in the preparation, rating and submission to the Chief of Division, the performance rating of all personnel under them. He shall rate all wharfingers in charge of the piers. So 11, recommend any personnel who are deserving, capable, and willing, pursuant to civil service rules and regulations for any promotion that are subject to be filled. Implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities with regard to his section. So, these are the functions of port utilization section, which is headed by a chief. So section 6, we have the duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer or the wharfingers. So the Assistant Customs Operations Officer, they are also called wharfingers. So A, we have at the pier or CYCFS. First, there shall be one wharfinger in charge of each pier, who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. So wharfinger in charge is the responsible for the discipline of customs personnel, which is under in his or her duty. So number 2, he shall exercise effective supervision over the arrestee contractor's service regarding receiving, handling, custody, and delivery of cargoes. Number 3, he shall note carefully the condition of the fender piles and draft at the piers and submit reports thereon. 4, he shall cooperate and assist other offices of the government performing official functions at the piers. Number 5, he shall supervise the cleaning of the pier and see to it that the garbage and obnoxious cargoes are disposed of promptly and properly. Number 6, he shall cooperate with and assess the Enforcement and Security Service or ESS in maintaining peace and order at the pier, including the exclusion of unauthorized person inside the pier, shed, warehouses, and premises. Number 7, he shall recommend the transfer and shifting of cargoes from pier to pier only to government bonded warehouses inside and outside the customs premises. Number 8, he shall process delivery permits and other types of customs permits, vis the official receipt or statement of settlement of duties and taxes or the SSDT issued by the formal or informal entry division prior to the release of cargo. Number 9, he shall, or through his authorized representative, accept delivery permits and other types of customs permits officially hand-carried by official messengers of the Bureau and shall properly distribute the same the concerned shed or warehouse wharfinger where the cargoes are stored. Number 10, he shall submit daily, weekly, monthly, and annual reports through proper channels to the Chief Peers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. He shall implement all lawful orders given to him from time to time by proper customs authorities. He shall submit reports of overstaying cargoes to the Chief Peers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. Letter B. Outside CY, CFS, or off dock. First, there shall be one wharfinger in charge of outside CY, CFS, or off dock, who shall be responsible for the efficiency and discipline of customs personnel under him. He shall receive the transfer note, inbound container, and inward foreign manifest from the customs guard. He shall supervise the stripping of the containers. He shall receive the stripping tally sheet from the CY, CPS, CFS warehouseman. He shall process delivery permits and other types of customs permits. For example, vis a vis the official receipt or statements of settlement of duties and taxes, or the SSDT issued by the formal or informal entry division prior to the release of cargo. He shall see to it that cargoes are released and delivered only to the proper parties in accordance with the marks, countermarks, and registry number of carrying vessel. He shall assign a customs guard, prepare and sign transfer note, as well as supervise the transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones, and bonded warehouses, either inside or outside customs zone, including coastwise transit cargoes and other places designated by customs. Number 8. In all cases of transfer of packed containers covered by warehousing permits or other permits where duties and taxes have not been paid, the container shall be sealed with a customs seal by the wharfinger concerned in the presence of the customs examiner concerned. Said wharfinger shall see to it that the containers transferred be underguarded until it received at the customs bonded warehouse by the customs warehouseman assigned thereat. If there is no customs warehouseman or anybody authorized by the collector of customs to receive the same such containers, shall remain underguarded continuously by the customs guard until the same is properly released by the Bureau of Customs. Number 9. He shall maintain a logbook to record events such as examination made, hold, alert, order, notice of warrant and seizure and detention or WSD, and samples taken. 10. He shall report to the collector of customs within 24 hours from the time the article is deemed abandoned and submit a monthly report on abandoned or overstaying cargoes to the Office of Chief, Peers and Inspection Division or its equivalent office. So those are the duties and responsibilities of wharfingers or assistant customs officer. So we have here this section 7, the duties and responsibilities of assistant customs office operations officer or designated assistant wharfingers. So first, each cargo shed or warehouse shall be under the direct charge and supervision of an assistant wharfinger who shall maintain his office inside the shed or warehouse. He shall prepare rate and submit rating of his pier, shed, or warehouse customs guards to the wharfinger in charge to the pier. Third, he shall supervise the opening and closing of the cargo shed or warehouse. The keys shall be secured in his office and shall be returned in the box provided in the office of the officer in charge of the pier after the shed warehouse has been closed. Fourth, he shall not allow an authorized person inside the cargo or shed or warehouse with or without operation. He shall process all delivery permits pertaining to his shed or warehouse before an authorizing delivery of cargo therefrom. He shall supervise closely the activities of the customs guards assigned in his shed or warehouse. He shall clear the pier berth of lighters and other obstructions during the berthing and or departure of vessel. He shall assist the wharfinger in charge of the pier and execute all his orders. He shall prepare and sign transfer notes as well as supervise transfer of cargoes to the local ports, economic zones, and bonded warehouses, either inside or outside customs zone, including coastwise transit cargoes and other places designated by customs. Number 10, he shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, or obnoxious cargoes are stowed inside the shed or warehouse. He shall coordinate with the arrastre, shed or warehouse security personnel, and Enforcement and Security Service or ESS in the prevention of pilferage of cargoes and other anomalies to defraud the customs revenues. He shall perform all functions that may be assigned to him from time to time by superior authorities. And we have here at the pier or CYCFS and section 8 duties and responsibilities of customs operation officers or the customs guards. So these are the duties and responsibilities of customs guards. A customs guards shall see to it that no inflammable, dangerous, and obnoxious cargoes are discharged in the dock without proper permit. Number 2, when assigned to delivery work, he shall scrutinize the delivery permit properly processed and signed by the processing wharfinger. He shall check carefully the load on the truck against the gate pass issued in accordance with the mark, countermarks, registry number, and total number of packages. He shall see to it that all deliveries made are duly recorded in the customs guard's delivery sheet. So he shall see to it that the wharfinger's copy of the delivery permit is retained and at the same time be forwarded to the wharfinger concerned upon the completion of the delivery. Number 6, when assigned as conduction guard, he shall see to it that the cargo destined for transfer reaches its destination safely and the covering transfer note properly signed by the warehouseman or storekeeper or wharfinger or customs guard concerned as the case may be. So when on board vessel, a customs guard shall see to it that no person is allowed to board the vessel without a written pass, excepting the stevedores to attend to the discharging or loading of cargoes at each accommodation ladder or gangway. Number 2, he shall conduct body searches, if necessary, on all persons coming in and out of the vessel. So number 3, he shall perform customs surveillance on board the vessel or port carriers containing cargo in transit that hasn't been released from customs supervision. Number 4, he shall check cargoes being discharged from or loaded on a vessel. 5, he shall act as couriers on official business. 6, he shall see to it that no empty lighters stay alongside the pier without proper permit. So we are here in number 6 as letter C, outside CV or CFS or off dock. Number 1, a customs guard shall assist the shed warehouse wharfinger in supervising the receiving, handling, custody, delivery, and stowage of cargo inside the shed or warehouse by the arrastre operations, to include witnessing the stripping or devanning and sign the cargo stripping report. He shall assist the shed or warehouse wharfinger in attending the inventory of bad order cargo and sign the bad order inspection certificate issued by the arrastre operator. So, others, a customs guard shall perform any other work or functions that may be assigned to him from time to time by his superiors. So, those are the things that a customs guard must do or their duties and responsibilities. So let's proceed to section 9, duties and responsibilities of Assistant Customs Operations Officer or designated customs gatekeepers. So we're moving forward in customs gatekeepers. So, number one, a customs gatekeeper shall report punctually at the terminal gate assigned to him and shall remain thereat until properly relieved or otherwise directed to perform other duties by his superiors. He shall not allow merchandise to pass through the gate without a gate pass. He shall verify the genuineness of the said pass as well as the signatures appearing thereon. He shall check the cargo covered by gate pass as to marks, number, quantity of packages, and registry number of the carrying vessel. He may hold the truck or merchandise if he has a valid reasons to believe that the merchandise is different from what is shown in the gate pass, reporting the matter promptly to the wharfinger in charge of the pier where the cargo came from. So this customs gatekeepers has the right to check if he or she has shown any not related to the cargo. So he or she has the right to do checkpoints. So number three, he must verify and see to it that all gate passes or customs copy are countersigned by the wharfinger of the corresponding pier where applicable. He shall see to it that gate passes with alterations and or notations shall not be honored without the signature of the pier superintendent and the wharfinger. Number 5. He shall collect all gate passes, which shall be submitted to the office of the wharfinger for reportial purposes at the end of each working day. So we have number 6, customs gatekeeper in charge shall supervise his men properly at the customs zone and pier gate, assisting them on whatever problems that may arise, and if not resolved, the same should be referred to the wharfinger in charge of the pier where the cargo came from. So customs gatekeeper assigned at the exit gates shall be required to open all empty containers to verify whether they are indeed empty and shall keep records of the approved request or permits issued and report any discrepancy to the office of the wharfinger in charge. So that was the duties and responsibilities of customs gatekeepers. So now we are moving in section 10, the reporting time of customs personnel. So the reporting time for customs senior boarding officers, customs inspectors, and customs guards are as follows. So first, the customs senior boarding officer, customs inspector, and customs guards are not assigned to vessel shall report at and stay in the office of the chief, Piers and Inspection Division are its equivalent office and observe regular working hours. They shall perform such duties as may be assigned to them by the chief or assistant chief of the division and the chief, base service section, or its equivalent office. So customs senior boarding officer, customs inspectors, and customs guards assigned to vessels arriving before 8 o'clock a.m. and after 5 o'clock p.m. shall report for duty at least 2 hours before the vessel's estimated time of arrival. So they have 2 hours to visit the office or to report before the estimated time of arrival of the vessels. So section 11, meals and accommodations for designated customs inspectors and customs guards. So on board vessel, the customs senior boarding officer shall, when necessary, invite the attention of the master of the vessel to customs regulations, which require the serving of meals and providing of suitable accommodations to customs inspector and customs guards assigned on board. If meals are not provided on board, the fact shall be certified by the master or chief steward of the vessel to entitle the customs inspector and customs guard to meal allowances at the rate provided for an existing regulations. So, to all ports or travel expenses, customs inspectors and customs guards traveling at the request and expense of shipping lines or other entities snail be allowed suitable accommodations and actual and necessary expenses for board and lodging subject to existing rules and regulations of customs official and employees duly assigned on board vessels shall be furnished with suitable accommodations and free regular meals. Whenever meals are available on board a vessel, customs inspector and customs guards assigned thereon shall not take their meals ashore, except when there is good justification for doing so and only when at least a customs guard is left on board. So basically, the customs official and employees duly assigned on board vessels are only the one who are um, suitable for accommodations and free regular meals. So the customs inspector and customs guard are not allowed to take any meals in ashore. So as you can see, guys, that it is still on section 11, but it's my fault. It's in section 12, which is the leave of absence. So this is the last section in administrative provision, which is our topic for today. So this is the first topic in CMO number 22 to 2010. So we are in the last one, which is the section 12. This is not 11, it's section 12, leave of absence. So application for vacation leave shall be filed and approved before such leave of absence and enjoyed by any officer or employee unless prevented by unforeseen circumstances beyond his control. So before come vacation leave, you should file for application. Also, it can be considered if there are some circumstances na or any incidents na beyond our control. So application for sick leave shall be filed within 2 days after return to duty, and if in excess of 3 days shall be supported by medical certificate. So there apparently there is only 2 days then to return to duty, and then if excess na og 3 days, it shall be supported by medical certificate. So any officer or employee detained by causes beyond his control and unable to report for duty at the prescribed hour of reporting must notify the office in which he is employed that to that effect within 2 hours, if practicable, of such prescribed hour, the first day of absence. Absence from duty without prior permission will be cause for disciplinary measures unless satisfactory is found. So if you don't have um any reasons why you're absent, of course there is a prior disciplinary measures. So that's all, guys. In this CMO number 22 to 2010, from the topic um, administrative provision, we all talk about the duties and responsibilities of any customs officer, also their meals and what are the proper when we have to leave for absence. So that would be all. Thank you for listening, guys. Turning off. See you on next topic. Bye.